Welcome. I know there's a few people here who are new, who've never been here before. Thank you for coming. We'll talk about you're returning. That's right. You were the one that moved to Florida and then came back because why wouldn't you? I mean, it's hot down there. Every time I visit,
it's hot. And
it's crazy hot.
But our family's here, and there's no place like home.
That's right. I click my heels together every time I'm down there. No place like home. No place like home.
Always return.
So, welcome. And a few things to do. Please introduce yourself to somebody you don't know, but not right this second. Because people do that to me. And then I can't talk anymore. I got to talk for a few minutes. I'm going to keep it minimal, but I got to talk for a few minutes. So do it like there's going to be a convenient break when you can introduce yourself to somebody. And today it's cozy. Sorry about that. I'm going to talk about why we're in this cozy space instead of the nice big spacious spaces. But for now, we'll go through this. We'll do it in order. Remember to wear your name badge, which I am not wearing, and I'm sorry. It's in the car. It's in the car, and I'm not going back. I know, shame on me, shame on me, shame on me. I apologize. But wear your name badge. Wear it for me, because I'm terrible with names. And it's not that I don't know you and love you, but I forget my own name. That's usually why they make me wear a name tag, so I don't forget who I am. If you've got your phone with you, and we all do, don't we? Please go ahead and hit the silence, because I would probably love to talk to you about where your ringtone comes from, but probably not during the meeting here. Also, please respect the speakers. Keep in mind that we are all volunteers here. Nobody gets paid, not 1 red cent, okay? So please be respectful. If you need to chat about something, please just take it out. I know it's a library, you can't chat loud up there, but you can take it out if you really need to talk to somebody about something. Why we are here. The purpose of this organization is to promote interest and skill in knitting, to encourage high standards of quality, and to use those skills for the benefit of others. And that's why we're here. Some announcement, newsletter deadline, November 24th. I got that right, didn't I? I got that right. And please, there was a really cool book review in there, and it was, you did it.
I did it.
You did it, and it was awesome. And you know what? I think all book reviews are awesome that go in there. Every time I see one, I think, wow, I really want to read that book, or boy, I'm glad they told me how bad that book is so I don't read it. I could waste my time. And so if you've read a book lately that is any way related to knitting, please consider writing. It's easy to do. It's like a book report, right? I mean, don't ooh me. It's fun because then you get to tell people, oh wait, I forgot something there.
Book reports.
And if you've got something, a book report or other articles to send, like if you just had an adventure with a new sweater you knitted, because I did an article on that one time. I did like 3 different sweaters because I had some yarn I had to use up and it was driving me nuts. I had to get it out of the house. And I did use different patterns for each one because they were all different weights, of course, because it can't be logical and be all one weight, right?
Yeah.
And so I ended up with 3 different patterns, and I did a comparison of the 3 patterns. And, you know, I got it off my chest because you know how it is when you're reading these patterns. You're like, this one stinks, or this one's really good like this. And so I got it all off my chest, and I gave the benefit to you guys if you read it. We do have yarn for charity projects out today. Remember, that's for charity projects. As attractive as sometimes that yarn can be to take home and make a sweater for your brother, please refrain. Yeah, your brother probably wouldn't like it anyway. But the folks that receive our charitable items very much appreciate the hats, the scarves, all those things that keep them warm, especially for the kids that don't have it. Big announcement, we have a 40th anniversary contest for knitting hats and scarves, okay? The submission deadline is July 12th, and if you have any questions, you can ask me, or better yet, ask John. John's not here today, his mom's pretty ill again. And so I'll talk more about that in a bit. Okay, so just a reminder, if you've got a cool hat or scarf pattern that you've been sitting on and you maybe make it forever, it's your favorite thing and you made it up. If it's one that somebody else wrote and you just copy, you can't copy that and say submit that. It's got to be one that you made yourself. Okay? Okay, we are updating the official bylaws, okay? This has been in the works for, Joan, how many years have we been working on this? Like,
A lot.
yeah, at least 2 or 3 years now, okay, that we've been working on this. The first thing was Eileen. Is Eileen here today?
No.
No, Eileen's not here. Eileen actually went in and made it into normal English instead of like that Victorian stuff that it was with all the shalls and shall nots. And,
Really?
yeah, she made it into real English. God bless her. And there are a few, also the handbook was kind of convolved into part of the bylaws, and we're removing that because all the information in the handbook is redundant with what's already on the website or in the bylaws already. And so the handbook is getting eliminated because we don't need it anymore. And we haven't printed it since, geez, it's been at least a decade, right? I think. So, yeah, so that's going away. There are a few additional changes. I strongly encourage you, the links are in the newsletter. I didn't put the links back up here because you can't click on the screen. And so it wouldn't do me any good. But if you go to our newsletter, there are clickable clicky things that you can click on and look at the old version and the new version and compare and contrast if you wish, or just at the very least try to look over the new version, which is, you're shaking your head no, but I know you mean yes.
I tried this morning, I could not access it.
I couldn't get
I
any
could
either.
not, I haven't
Okay.
been able to access it.
We'll look into that.
Yes.
So sorry about that, we'll try. We'll try again.
Or through the site, through the newsletter.
Through the newsletter.
Yeah.
Could not get any.
Try,
No, you know what, it should be accessible through that newsletter, it's marked there.
yeah,
Yes,
I'm sorry, that needs to be fixed.
it will be fixed.
yeah.
It will be
Okay.
fixed.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I should have checked, I didn't even think to check the links.
I checked it
Did-
for
and
the
it worked?
October newsletter, and then I just left it in for November, so I
Sure.
wonder if it didn't, if
Maybe
it
things got
delayed
switched
it or
switched a
something.
little bit.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's not.
Hard to tell.
Nothing.
But anyway, when we get that straightened out, we will send, can we send a blast?
Yeah, I'll just send the blast.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll send a blast and let you know, to be sure. We are intending to vote on that at the next meeting. Okay, and that means only the people that are here get to vote, or not here, because the meeting isn't here, it's at Grantsview. But only the people attending get to vote. So if you're like really excited about it in a positive or negative way, make sure you read it and you come to the meeting so you get your say. Okay? Any questions about that?
Just to comment, the new version is short. So if you're thinking bylaws, hundreds of pages, it's not. It's a quick read.
It's a lot shorter than it was. And it's readable as opposed to the shells and
It shall not. and
shall not. Okay. A couple of small bits and pieces at the potluck next June 14th. We're gonna have some tables where you can, we're going to have tables for a small price if you wish to sell items. So if you want to de-stash or whatever you might want to sell, you'll need to talk, May is not here today, but May is the person you'll need to talk to about that. Usually we charge like $10 a table. I think that, if it's not 10, 15, something like that. So it's a nominal fee.
It's fine.
I don't,
It's fine.
regardless, it won't be a lot of money. Meeting recordings. So we have changed things a little bit. During COVID, we were putting everything out on YouTube. Now what we're doing is putting the business meetings out as public, but the actual program is gonna be it's unlisted as far as YouTube is concerned, which means you have to go into the link on the website and click on the link. If you go in the member area, you can find your way down to the meeting presentations, and then they will be listed, and you click on the right link and you'll be able to see it. So you guys, all the members can see it, but those programs the old ones are still available to the public because what the heck, they've already been out there for a while. But all the new programs going forward are going to be kind of behind that password firewall thing, so that it's for our members. It's one of our membership benefits, really. And so that's where it's gonna stay for now. Website password is gonna change January 1st. You guys probably remember it usually changes in July. The reason it's not changing in July is that we're looking at a whole different way of doing this. We're gonna have individual username and logins for people. And that's gonna streamline our whole membership process significantly. But that's taken longer than we thought it might, because, I don't know, people have jobs. Yes, so, anyway, we'll change it January 1st, and then we'll be phasing in that username password thing, which, again, I think that's really gonna facilitate some of the membership stuff. I'm hoping it will. The Guild Library, which 2 people have used in the last 3 years, I believe, is that right, Sarah?
Yeah.
Pretty close, yeah. So we're getting rid of it, because I think everybody uses Ravelry now. And the way we're getting rid of it is each month we will bring some books. And we will put them on the table. And we will hope that you take them. And we will keep doing that until the library is gone, or until we find somebody else who'll take the books. We can't throw away the books.
Yeah, books are
Books are funny that way. I don't like to burn them or throw them away. Either one, it's about the same to me. So those are being dispersed because we're not using it. Okay, so there's no use in keeping all that stuff, because it's actually, how many boxes full of books do you have, Sarah?
It's like 3 or 4 boxes of books.
3 or 4 big boxes, and
I mean,
we're not talking like a little box,
And
we're talking.
some of them are,
great
you know,
big bins.
coffee table books too.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, I do have the list, and I keep updating it as people take them. So if you want the list, just email me and I'll bring them in too for you, so.
Oh, that's service.
Yeah,
She will bring you the books that you want.
Wow.
Wow.
Very nice.
that's right.
You can't
Before
have-
they go, you know, otherwise we put them out on the table and it's a
That's right.
free-for-all.
That's right, then it's a free-for-all, then you might have to. This is the worst part ever, that I've ever had to do in a presentation to the Knitters Guild. We lost our hospitality princess, our sweet hospitality princess that we all love. She was always so happy and welcoming to everyone who walked through that door.
Moment of silence.
I don't know what to say. Maybe we can have just a moment of silence and have our thoughts and prayers for Tony. So one thing that we're going to do in memory of Tony, and this is Joan and Viola, are going to do a knit-along of the baby surprise jacket, because this was something that Tony always wanted to, yeah, maybe you should tell.
When we got to visit with her before she passed, she said she was real happy. It was good to visit with her. You know, she was happy, of course. She was, the only thing that I regret is that I never made a baby surprise jacket. So I said, we'll make one for you. So then I said, well, let's let the rest of the guild do that too. So,
Let's make a lot of
yeah.
them for her.
So, and if it's too big, then let's make a kilo hat, because she's collected those too. Yeah.
Right, and that's my next line. If you don't feel like you can commit to a baby surprise jacket, then a chemo hat would be great. She, for many years, for at least a decade, she's been taking those chemo hats to all the, and that's just what I know. I mean, she may have done it before that as well, but I know for sure for the last decade, she's been taking all the chemo hats that we make and distributing them and making sure that different hospitals, she'd go in and check their supply. And if they were low, she would give them some, and if they weren't low, she'd keep them for the next hospital. And she did a great job with that for a very long time, so we will miss her. Please do welcome Danielle. She's waving her arms, she's down on the ground. What is she doing down there? I don't know.
Putting prizes together.
Okay. We have all decided that there can never be another hospitality princess.
I am no princess.
There you go. And plus, even if she thought she was a princess, she couldn't be a hospitality princess. Because only Tony. That's only Tony. But Danielle is going to welcome people and try to do good things like that. Okay. Local yarn shop news. Seven Sisters moved. They moved, I think it's just down the street, is that correct?
It's on
Yeah.
Lindbergh.
It's on Lindbergh.
It's
very close.
They were
East
They
of
were like, were they in Concord Plaza before? Yeah.
You're just east of Tesson Ferry.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so near Tesson Ferry in Lindbergh, on Lindbergh. So they have moved. Also, I got this, I got notified by, I'm missing your name. Kathy, I'm so sorry. And we've worked together for years too, so it's just my brain, I'm old. That's what's happening. Leading Men Fiber Arts, which you guys know about because they're around us a lot. They have this really cool little video that came out. Prairie Fire is some kind of nonprofit video producer in Illinois. And they did a really cute job. And some of the stories they told were stories we'd already heard when we had leading men visit us at various meetings in the past. But if you haven't seen it, it's pretty cool. If you search Prairie Fire Leading Men, you'll be able to find it on YouTube. If you really can't find it, you can email me and I'll send you a link. But again, if I put a link up here, it would do no good because you can't click the screen. This is an announcement that was given to me at our last meeting, not during the luncheon, but at the previous meeting. There's a lady who does machine knitting, and I know Lynette Millis has worked with her in the past, and she's looking for new knitters. So this is basically an excerpt of her information. If anybody's interested in doing that, you can email me or text me, and I'll send you her email if you're interested in doing some machine knitting in your house. And I also received an email from a gentleman whose favorite sweater has some tiny holes in it. You know, none of us have ever seen that before, right? But he seemed very sweet, and he said he was happy to pay for somebody to fix it. I have no idea what part of town he's from, but if you would like his contact information, give me a call. I'm kind of thinking if nobody calls me, I might just call him and go fix his darn sweater. Because he seemed so sweet, and he's so formal and sweet in his emails, so. Anyway. So if you want to fix some holes, please do. Knitting Guild Association, they have a live meetup January 25th, where people actually get together again. This is only, I think, the second one since COVID, and John's not here for me to confirm because he's into TKGA. And I don't see Eileen, who is also into it, but so that's something people like to go to, and it's at Times Square in New York City. I've never been to Times Square. You have? Yeah, lots of people have. It's never a big appeal to me. I wouldn't go to Times Square just to see Times Square, but that's me. Also, they've got a conference coming up in April. That's that Next Level Knitting Conference that we have talked about in other meetings previously that really helps you work on your knitting.
It's virtual?
I believe there is yes, it is virtual. It says it in the corner. I knew it was at least partly virtual. I think there may be a place you can go to, but I think it's mainly virtual. Uh-oh, yeah, here we go. So a little bit more business. The minutes from the last meeting were in the newsletter. Any changes? Anybody interested in making a move to approve those minutes? Sarah has moved to approve the minutes. Can I get a second? Second, Kathy. All right. Thank you. And this. The treasurer's report was also in the newsletter. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
Oh, 2 questions. Okay.
My question is, I noticed we've got a nice tidy little sum of money, and I was wondering if there are any plans for some kind of superstar weekend or any other kind of expenditure for
I
that
love the
money.
way you think. And one of the things that we need to talk about is how we need a committee to actually do teaching. And part of one of the things I've tasked John with, and he's not here, so I don't want to be mean, but it's we need to do a conference like we used to do back in the day. We need to bring in, at least one super cool knitter. We need some parts of that should be free for all of us to attend. So there's that. And then there's also, we're coming up to our 40th anniversary. And I wanna do something a little bit special for the Founder's Day luncheon for the 40th anniversary, which will cost a little bit more, but not cost you guys more. And, you know, so we're planning on spending it down. In fact, that was one of the number one things that our treasurer was telling us in the last board meeting, executive board meeting. I don't think I'm telling too much out of school. She's like, you need to spend some of this money because we're a nonprofit organization. So
Yeah, for our members, because I want to go to Tahiti and it's burning a hole in my pocket.
Tahiti's not a non-extradition country, don't go there.
you had a question.
Yes, I do have a
I've
question.
been,
I noticed that you charge $25 a person for the luncheon, and I noticed that you had that $1,000 of the people that came, but then you had to pay another $400. Why is that?
Was that the cost of the room?
$400.
Pam.
Tell me, I'm sorry.
Okay, you
Clarify.
brought in $1,000 from the people that wrote checks for the tickets, okay?
Uh-huh.
But then the expense was $1,400. Why the extra $400? Why did you have to spend another $400?
There were swag things. That was part of the Founder's Day luncheon, the bags and the printing and things like that. I think that's what you're talking about.
I'm sure Pam can give you
I
plenty of detail on
have
it.
all the details,
She's got
in
every
the back.
receipt.
but
Trust
we
me.
actually nearly broke even on that. We were within $20 from breaking even for the
Except for the
whole.
$400.
Well,
There was also a raffle that brought in money.
yeah, I will have to, I have to show you what,
Okay,
you know,
I'm just
find
wondering
out what you're talking about.
Okay, your expenses showed, and income were different. That's why I wanted to know why the difference was there, the $400,
Okay,
okay?
I can't answer that right at this instant.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
But maybe you guys can exchange emails and then you can,
Pam,
Good.
Well, I do have all my data, and I can show you what we're talking about.
That's fine.
Laura, what were you gonna say?
Well, that only shows the money that came in September. Did money come in August for the luncheon?
I'm not sure exactly what her question is. I will have to address it outside.
Okay, because you only showing each month the money that came in, and rightly so. But
Yeah,
maybe
there's-
money came in September that was also for the luncheon that makes up that $400.
Right, the report for the luncheon, everything amalgamated will be in this next newsletter, the December newsletter. So all the whenever we got income, which was not necessarily on that month, it'll all be in one small report for
Okay, I don't
specifically.
think we need to talk about this anymore.
Right, exactly.
I'm done.
Thank you. Meeting space. So you guys have all noticed that you're in a really tight space here, right? And so we, as the board, did a few things. Pam actually went and plotted where every single member, what zip code they were in, and made it on a map, put it on a map.
They were only, and they only plotted the ones that gave addresses in the membership directory. There's quite a few people that don't have their physical address.
We're probably at
there.
90% though,
Yeah,
we're
but
fine.
probably 90% of the bona fide.
So she
members.
plotted all of these
Yeah.
out, and she gave me that map, and I looked at that map, and I looked at the library website and tried to match up places where it would go. And probably not surprisingly to anybody here, there's a fair number of people like right up north, like right around where we are now, a fair number of people right around south, right about where we've stayed other times, and a few out west. We outnumber you guys, both the north and south outnumber you guys out west. Okay, and so I then looked at the library website and found every place where they had rooms that would hold 80 people. This room is supposed to hold 60 people. Okay, so I looked at every library that had a room that would hold 80 people, and then I went to those libraries to make sure, because some of these places that said they would hold, One place we were at that said it would hold 60 people. I mean, we were doing good fit, like 40 in there. And we were all breathing each other's air. I mean, it was tight. And so I went to them, I looked at them. I was told by one librarian, oh, you're never gonna get the big rooms on the weekend. And I said, I'm gonna be up at midnight to get those rooms, are you kidding me? And she's like, no, because they're reserved by the library, often for programs for kids, weekend programs for kids. So the biggest rooms are reserved by the library, and we can't find the library. So, I was gonna get up at midnight, they were supposed to drop on October 1st, all the rooms, and then they decided to change it to October 5th, which of course, as you guys know, I have to be in Disney World on my birthday and I was already down there. And so I called John and blithered my problem at him, and he goes, no problem, I'll log on. And I gave him my priorities, I told him all the information about the best meeting rooms, and he got on as soon as possible and did not get a single one of the good meeting rooms that I wanted to get, because as it turns out, they're all reserved by the library for other purposes, okay? So this is how it looks the first, and we're only allowed to pick 6 months at a time. So this is how it looks for the first 6 months. And of course, June is going to be the potluck luncheon. Okay, and we have to wait till April 5th to do the last half of the year. Yes?
Why are you limiting us to just the libraries? We clearly have money. We've had a wonderful facility in the past at the Mormon Church that somehow was deemed inappropriate. That was completely free. And if we have money, the other organizations I belong to pay for a room. We go to Shrewsbury, we pay $100 a meeting. I think that's not unreasonable. To have it in a stable
If you
place.
could find a place that actually only charges $100, that would be cool, because the least I've found is $120 to $150, and most places are closer to $200. But regardless, I want to spend the money that we have on the membership and knitting stuff, not on a meeting space, if we can get a meeting space for free, if we can get a reasonable one for
Well,
free.
moving people around constantly doesn't lend you to a stable base of where people.
There's
are
no
going
one,
and
there's
where.
no one place we can go where it's close to everybody, except, and this is what I was gonna talk about next, the Clark Family Library. And just to address your issue about churches, not everybody is comfortable going to a church to go to a knitting meeting. I had people, yes, they're really true.
We had a level
And-
parking lot, we didn't have to pay liability, we had people setting it up for us.
We had people demanding free membership. We had people demanding free membership and reimbursement for their driving to the knitting meeting, because we were dependent on certain people to be able to use that facility. So I don't want to talk about that anymore, but it was not free, okay? It was not.
We did meet out of church. And 20 years ago, I don't remember.
It was the Mormon church we were at like a decade ago. And it seemed fine until the person who was our contact started demanding money.
They want a donation. They probably do.
I'm not gonna talk about it in public. If you wanna talk about it offline, I'll give more details, but it was I was president at the time, and it was a problem. And people actually accused me of being an atheist because we stopped going to the Mormon church. And I'm a Roman Catholic, so I have no problem with anybody. I'll go to anybody's church, I'm cool with that. I'm fine. But regardless, the one place that we have traditionally met that's perfectly centrally located is the Clark Family Library. But those of you who were here at the meeting before last, not at the luncheon, but at the last meeting, know that that space is, we're only allowed to have a space for 25 people. We can never have enough space to fit our group, even though the main space will hold 200 people. And this is a decision made by the library board, who's a public board. And so what I want to do, and I'm looking for some help to do this, is I would like for somebody to help me get a petition started. I want to have a petition, and then I'm going to write a letter, and then I'm going to go to that board meeting and talk to them, because they do let some groups go. I'm standing here as a knitter. As I stand over here, I'm a genealogist. Family history, right? The St. Louis Genealogical Society meets in the Clark Family Library, and they get the full room open to them. The reason is they have 2 or 3 members who are active librarians in the history genealogy library at the Clark Family branch, and so they're allowed to use it, and we are not. And so I know this because I'm a member of the St. Louis Genealogical Society. My meetings are over there, and I can't go over there and then come over here and get to both meetings. Although they record theirs too, so I can watch it. But I know they're allowing other groups to do it. We just have to get the exception made for us. So I'm hoping to go to them with a bunch of signatures on a paper and my loud voice, which you guys know how loud I can get. I don't need this microphone. I'm doing it as a courtesy and not talking too loud. But that's what I would like. So if you're willing to help me, if anybody with any experience in writing petitions, because I don't even know what I'm doing, I just make a list of some kind.
Use AI.
Use AI. I can use AI. I'll get AI. But if anybody has any experience in this, I'm going to start bringing it to meetings. We'll try to get people signing it. I'll have extra copies that you can take to your knit-ins, things like that. I want to get a lot of people on that list so that when I go to the board, it's not just little old me with my knitting needles sitting there, but it's me and my entire organization that want to know why we are not allowed to use a public facility which our tax dollars pay for.
And have used before.
And we used for 30 plus years. It would have been like 38 years. This is just the last 2 years we haven't been able to use it. So
It's on Plattsburgh Road.
I'm sorry?
Where is the Clark Library?
It's on Limber. It's where the old headquarters library
Library
used to be.
Okay.
Yeah, they tore down the old headquarters library, built that beautiful new library, now no one goes to use it.
And renamed it.
Yeah, Clark, because the Clark family gave them some money, but it was mostly tax dollars, trust me. Yes?
Are we doing the north, is that mixing people up?
We are trying to do north and south. So when John logged in, he found that the selection was very limited.
I mean, I'm just, like, we can't just pick one place, like the group.
We can, but we talked about it on the board and we felt it was more fair to alternate north and south.
Okay.
Since we couldn't get anything central, go north, go south, go north, go south, to try and even it out. We're trying to be as,
I
it's
know.
a difficult
It's
situation
like
and we
rock
hate it.
in a hard place and a knife, okay. so
Right,
I get
and
it.
every time I come in here, somebody's got the knife at my throat.
Yeah, I
So,
just- which isn't supposed
not
to be,
everybody, but
But it's a nice room. It's the nicest room.
which
The one
one?
at Daniel Boone, that was.
That was very
good.
nice.
That was
The one,
good.
when we go to Grants View next week, or next month, that's very nice too, but it's hard to get
The
to.
access is bad.
Access
It's
is,
not hard to get to, it's down Bradley.
it's right on me, right down the street from you, right? You're one of the south side people, I know where everybody lives right now, but for me, from coming from the north, I have to go down 270 and I have to come up, yeah, Gravois for like, it feels like 100 years, and I get there anyway. Anyway, so that's the long sad story, and so if we can, if anybody would be willing to help me, that would be awesome. And now we have individual reports. May is not here. Does anybody have, did May give anybody anything to say? No, okay. I do know that we had 62 people at the luncheon. It seemed very successful. We had a great time if you weren't there. Also, John is not here today because his mother is quite ill. And we're lucky that Pam at the last minute volunteered to take over his program for him and present for him. So thank you for that, Pam. Sarah, you need service?
I'm here.
She's here, yay.
Okay, let me not trip over, that would be one of my favorite tricks to do when I'm presenting. I've tripped over more cords than I can shake a stick at. We had 947 hats as of, I think it was the last meeting in October, which was the luncheon. Today, we've got, at last count, 99, which brings us to 1,046. which is 154 shy of the 1,200 goal, which I think we'll probably make, so give yourselves a round of applause. Yay. And there's some really fun hats over there, some fun hats and stuff, and we've got some gorgeous blankets, a lot of scarves, towels, etc. So it's not all just about hats, it's, you know, all of that will go to good use. So thank you very much, and thank you also,
19 sweaters.
yes, 9?
9.
I counted 5
Oh,
in the
5,
bag.
sorry.
Okay,
What is the total on that?
95 are we up to now?
2, 5, 7, 97.
97.
We're at 97,
That's what I
and I
got.
have to thank everybody in the guild, bless you all, for making those sweaters for us.
97, okay. Okay, that's out of 135, but there's no deadline, which is good, so, that's huge as well, so.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody, thank you.
And the donated yarn, as usual, thank you very much, and there's also some free stuff back there, please feel free to take it. As Mary mentioned, I do have a list of the library books, we'll be dispersing those. I will send you a copy if you want to take a look at it. Again, you know, I'm a book person, I love books. It's painful to think about, you know, throwing them away or doing something with them, but they're kind of just sitting there. So I will continue to bring them for people to pick up if nobody wants them. And as Mary mentioned, the baby surprise sweater knit along, thank you Joan and Yola for honoring Tony that way. And, you know, chemo hats are always welcome. So that's all I have. Any questions? Okay.
Susan?
Oh. Just move away from the board.
So, excuse me, sorry. I did lose my voice. I got it back. Apparently it's being all wonky again.
You gotta hold the mic kind of close on this one,
Okay.
yeah.
So we had a tabling event at the Saks Branch Library. It was Art Connection. It was very small. There were maybe 6 tables, so it was really, really small. Not something we'll probably do again, but thank you to the people who did volunteer and come out. We had a lot of people stop by the table who were actually crocheters, and but some did take a kit that we had. Sarah put together a bunch of kits with yarn and a pattern and needles, and they said they would try knitting. So cross your fingers that we get some knitters out of the crocheters.
I'm curious, just for a minute, how many, we're all knitters in this room, how many of us are also crocheters? Please raise your hand.
Very cool.
Told ya.
So hopefully we'll get some more. And then as Mary had mentioned earlier, that kind of the tenets and the 3 goals of our guild, to promote interest in skill in knitting, encourage high standards of quality, and use our skill to benefit others. Well, we use our skill to benefit others with our donations, right? We encourage high standards with our education programs that we have every month for you guys. And the way we promote interest in skill in knitting is these tabling events, right? That's the goal of that, is to get more people learning about knitting, getting interested in knitting, and maybe coming to the meetings. So if you are able to help at these tabling events, it's really appreciated, even if it's just an hour or 2. It's not hard. All you do is just stand there and talk about knitting, which I think we all can do, right? It's pretty easy. So anytime we have these tabling events, it's really helpful to have extra hands. And also, if you know of any craft fairs in your area that we might want to get a table at, let me know. Sometimes they will waive the fee, like when we went to the Geek Craft Expo, we got a free table by helping them at their event, so we might get a free table. But if there's anything in your area that you know about that you think this might be a good fit for us to have a tabling event, just let me know. And since this is our 40th year, we're in that, we're gonna send out a survey soon to kind of just gauge everybody's thoughts and feelings on the guild and what you guys want to get out of it, right? This is our 40th year. We want to make sure that we're meeting your expectations, that we're delivering what you want to get out of it, as well as, you know, our tenets and what the guild says it's supposed to do. But we also want to make sure that we're meeting your guys' needs. So we'll have a survey coming out soon. It'll be anonymous, so don't worry about it. We're not going to have names on it. Any questions?
Thank you, guys. Pam, do you have something that you want to talk about other than what was already in the newsletter? Pam is gonna be talking a lot today, so she's gonna save her voice for that. And Diane, membership, what have we got today?
Well, I've got a couple of name tags that came in this week for Alice McKenna and Tammy Noose. But I've got all these that I inherited, name tags that people have never picked up. So if you've never picked up your name tag, come see me. And we have 196 members currently.
196 members currently.
196.
196. Okay, I've left this slide up. This is Tony's slide. And I had to leave it up for one last time. I'm gonna change it. I brought in some different items, a few of them a little upscale from before. And you have a random number generator back there, you said?
I do.
Danielle?
I also have some back here parts.
Okay, well, we'll save those for next time.
Okay. I will just use my numbers they already generated. Paul, Floyd?
Riola?
Riola, sorry, I thought
Riola.
Would you like some stitch holders for Riola?
I can't read this, so I'm sorry.
That's all right. I figured it out real fast. That's exactly what her name looks like. You don't want that? Well, okay, you need it, okay. Because I could trade you for something else if you want.
We got Margie Robinson.
Margie.
Margie.
Okay, hold on, reach back that far.
Very nice.
Do you like these?
Here, I'll get it for Margie.
Sit, sit.
I'm okay now. I've been in the hospital.
Oh.
I have no idea what's wrong. I went because I had all the symptoms. What I do in the hospital, I did not. And so now I'm stuck in physical therapy.
Well, physical therapy is great. Do everything they tell you to do. It hurts real bad, but you got it. And another?
I don't know the first name. Owens is the last name.
Liz.
A
pair of travel scissors? Sorry, I'm stuck with this. Another one?
Susan C.
Susan, where's Susan? There she is. How about another pair of travel scissors?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Again, I can't do the first name. The last name is Riley.
That's me. That's you.
That's me.
But I'm a board member, I can't.
She says no. She says no, so pick another one.
I'm sorry.
We are?
Last one, previous I did was Laura. Yeah, that.
Laura. Stitch markers, a full set of stitch markers there. This next thing we have is a project bag, and it's actually an oversized pencil case, but it's perfect for socks or small items like that.
Vicky Stockley.
Vicky Stockley.
Oh, those. Oh, I just.
And this last thing is most special of all. It's a full felting kit.
Oh.
It's got roving in there. It's got all kinds of all things. So what's our last one there?
46 is Melinda Westerland.
Linda. So it's got all kinds of cool stuff in there. It's got all the felting needles and
Needle
it's needle felting. It's a needle felting kit with all, and it's even got like a little rubber mat so you don't stab your table. There were no Band-Aids. There were no Band-Aids. Yeah. Pam says you need Band-Aids if you're gonna need needle felting.
Sorry.
I'm not sure.
It's scary. Yeah, it's too scary. How many in attendance and how many visitors?
How many attendants total do we have?
50.
50. And visitors?
Technically 2.
Technically 2. This fella I know is visiting. That's Alex.
Unfortunately, he got counted as part of the 50.
He got counted as part of the 50 by mistake, so there's actually 49 and 3, or 8.
48 and 2 visitors.
Okay.
That got-
So welcome, and who's the other one?
Deborah?
Deborah.
And this young lady.
Oh, and a young lady right
She
there.
actually on the visitor list.
Oh, there's one right there too.
She was outside and I invited her in.
So welcome.
Very good.
Awesome.
I was invited.
Perfect. Well, welcome, we're glad you came
Drag him
in.
in off the street.
Start him young, drag him in off the street. Yeah. Well, welcome to all of our visitors, and we hope that you join us and join our community and come more often. Let's see, what else do I have? Ah, it's time for show and share. Who are my
Take a
show and
break?
share people?
Is there a
And yes,
break?
show and share people, there'll be a break after show and share.
Okay, that's true, that's
Yeah.
true.
Break is after show and share. And Lee isn't here today, so Sarah is gonna be taking pictures with her fancy iPhone.
I don't know about fancy,
And
but.
applying lots of Photoshops.
No Photoshop.
You are what you are.
And please do use the microphone even though it's a small.
Okay, I'm Vicki Berry, and I was on a cruise to Alaska, I don't know, last year, and I don't even know what city we were in, but I came across a yarn store. This lady had more Noro yarn than I think the whole country of Japan has. It was mind-boggling. So I bought 4 balls, and you know it's bulky. This is Noro Ito yarns, and I made this sweater, and it's a vintage fur is the name of the pattern, and it's out of a book called Knitting Simply Jackets. And as I said, it took three balls, and I'm gonna make a little wrap with the 4th ball. I did change it and made an I-cord edging along the front and around the collar. Well, yeah, one other thing. I made the sleeves according to the pattern, and they were 5 inches too long. So I had to rip them all out and redid them. So that's why I had an extra ball left.
Very
It's plain, but you know, it's perfect for this kind of day. It's more of a little cardigan jacket, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Diane Shuey. I actually live 3 minutes from here. So anyway, this is my home library. This is Jacob wool that I knitted from roving, which I always consider kind of cheating because I'm also making some Jacob wool from sheep stuff. So I spun it up, I dyed it, and I only had 2 pounds of roving, and it was getting pretty thin, and so I decided to go for yoke so that I could use some other yarns in it. And it was still getting pretty thin, so I got down here and I'm like, you know, I can't even put the background in and make points because I don't have enough yarn for that. So I just stopped, put the yoke on, and had enough left for a little collar. I think I had 2 yards left over. Yeah, but I wanted outerwear, and this is super heavy on size 4 needles, and it's worsted, so it's really heavy. It feels heavy to wear, and I put it on today, and I'm like, Lord, I'm dying in this thing. But I walk my dog at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it gets cold around here, so.
Did you steek it down the front to get the?
I steeked it. And it was a 2-stitch steek, and that was not enough. It really needed a little bit more, but we squeezed it in. And and I don't tend to follow the pattern. Even if I have a pattern, I always go, oh, that was a hard way to do that. I could do that easier, and it never is, but yeah. So thank God there's Elizabeth Zimmerman and Knitting Without Tears. She saved me I don't know how many times. And I think I had to consult her for this one too, so there you go.
Beautiful.
If you know anything
thing about me and Karen.
You gotta hold the microphone closer. You gotta hold the microphone kind of close.
Anytime I want to knit something and I'm not sure if I can knit it, then I talk her into knitting the same thing. So, this is the Coorie, C-O-O-R-I-E, Coorie Inn. It's designed by Amy Palco, and she's a podcaster of, what's her? Okay. Meaningful, I wrote it down, I don't know why I'm not reading it. Meaningful Stitch is the name of her podcast. And Coorie it means like snuggle in, and that's how she named it. I made mine a little bit more, I added a few more rows than the pattern called for. Karen made hers a few rows shorter.
Mine is a few rows shorter because I was running out of yarn. I ended up with 28 inches left over.
What's the name of the poncho, the pattern?
Coorie Inn, C-O-O-R-I-E, N-I-N.
Okay.
In poncho.
Poncho, Coorie Inn poncho. And I made mine out of Knit Pick City tweed, and it's a DK weight.
And mine is made out of some very vintage, super Taj Mahal yarn from Lane Serenia that I bought at the weaving department probably 15 years ago. So there was no going back for another ball of yarn. And it's knit top down. There were a lot of stitches in the last few rows. I was measuring out and seeing how many stitches I could get with 20 inches of yarn. Oh, and this yarn is a blend of wool, silk, and cashmere. It's really nice, and I was so happy to finally find a project for it. And I have to do a quick change because I have another sweater.
I think I have $1. No exchanging money at the moment.
That's true. Can't pay for a strip shop. Down to the bottom of the yoke.
I have George's phone.
Yes. This is, just get me all straightened out.
It's pretty.
This is the kudzu cardigan. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's done with 2 strands of yarn held together, a DK weight wool, and then I used some silky alpaca lace that I had in my vintage box too.
Okay.
It's always nice. If I buy a new yarn, I have to use some of my old stuff too.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's on. Just gotta hold it close.
Okay, I wanted a neutral shawl that I could wear for places that are 96 degrees outside and 60 degrees inside. So I wanted something that would go with anything. And this is Richland by Dee O'Keefe, who, if you've never knitted one of her patterns, she's got to be one of the clearest pattern writers ever. And I'll show you. It's 2 different patterns. Oops. Oh, shoot. Oh, it just broke my necklace.
Oh, no.
But anyway, it's 2 totally different stitches. But it's a great social knitting, believe it or not, because the pattern just flows together after you've done a few.
That's really
The name again is?
It's Richland
Richland by Dee O'Keefe.
Yeah.
And that was a Malabrigo. That's a Malabrigo.
Melody.
Oh, a Malabrigo. I just took it.
Okay, we're gonna take a 10-minute break before you go. We're gonna talk about knit support animals. That's what all these critters are up here. And just wanted to remind you thank all the volunteers that are here. Nobody gets paid 1 red cent to be here, so thank you everybody who's helping out. And everybody, many of us are helping out in more ways than one, so please, if you see somebody, thank them very much. And Pam is, at the last minute, agreed to do the talk that John was supposed to do today, but couldn't because of his mother's illness. So make sure you thank Pam too, because it's kind of hard to throw it all together in 2 days.
Did you want me to do some,
I'll get it on you.
on the book?